Good morning and welcome to another edition of Relevant News. Today is April 3rd, 2014. Lots of interesting news out there today, folks, but for our top story today, I wanted to alert you to this FBI seizing artifacts at rural Indiana home. FBI surrounds home in rural central Indiana. Agency says agents seizing artifacts. Waldron, Indiana, FBI agents have surrounded a home in rural central Indiana to confiscate what the agency is calling artifacts. A spokeswoman for the FBI in Indianapolis wouldn't identify the artifacts being recovered Wednesday, but said there was no immediate threat to the public. Other details weren't immediately released about the investigation in Rush County, about 35 miles southeast of Indianapolis. Television helicopters video showed a mobile FBI command vehicle, a moving van, and several tents alongside a two-story home near the town of Waldron. The FBI has scheduled a news conference about the investigation on Wednesday afternoon. Guys, look at the picture of what's going on at this house just south of Indianapolis. Look at this van. What is going on with that van right there? They've definitely got a perimeter set up with some kind of tenting to keep anything from getting out. I mean, it's got to be either some kind of biological or some kind of agent that could be a serious threat to human life. I mean, that is something to take in. Keep your eyes open on this one, folks. The earth seems to be shaking a lot more lately, guys. I hate to bring on the doom. I'm not a doom preacher, but definitely some doomish things occurring lately. USGS says a magnitude 7.6 earthquake occurred on April 3rd, 2014 off the west coast of northern Chile. Now this follows an 8.0 earthquake the day prior, so there's definitely some movement on that plate down there. A lot of people are saying that there's a lot of seismic activity in Yellowstone, which we're going to cover in a minute, and of course a lot of doom people are talking about something happening in California, of course, which I'm sure one day will probably occur. But on April 3rd, 2014, a 7.6 earthquake off the west coast of the northern Chile occurred as a result of a thrust motion at a depth of approximately 40 kilometers, 23 kilometers south of the city of, I'm going to butcher the name, Iquique. I have no idea. The location and the mechanism of the earthquake are consistent with a slip of the plate boundary interface or a megathrust between the Nazca and the South American plates. At the latitude of the event, the Nazca plate is subducting beneath the South American rate at a rate of 73 millimeters per year. So a lot of activity going on there, guys. Keep your ears and eyes open. It very well could be related to some of the sunflower activity that we're going to talk about coming up. Solar Ham's got some information about the solar wind activity and the solar flare. Here we see a magnitude I think it's an M8 or 9 flare occurred late April 2nd, but just before the 3rd. It's an earth glancing blow that will arrive somewhere on the 4th. So keep your eyes open on that. I think it's pretty safe to say now with no doubt in the mind that this sun activity definitely does have some effects on the earth and probably a lot of that seismic activity. So we'll keep our eyes open on that sun thing as well. Folks, lots of stories on Russian Times today about what's happening in America. It occurred to me today when I was looking over the news this morning that it's kind of funny that Russian Times and Al Jazeera has more interesting news about what's happening in the United States than our own news, major news outlets. located here. Shooter among 4 dead at Fort Hood. Fort Hood suffering another. One of the 4 dead was the shooter, who they say had a issue with PTSD and was under surveillance. Of course, that didn't help them at all. And then interesting that Russian Times has a story on here about animals fleeing from Yellowstone. This is the first time I've seen this story pop up in the internet, but it's funny that it's made the Russian Times front page. Apparently some bison and other animals are fleeing from the Yellowstone, and it just so happens that there has been a lot of activity seismically going on there. God help us if something actually happens at Yellowstone. So again, don't like to preach the doom, but some things to look out for. Interesting that Russian Times has that on their front page. And as far as UFO update today, the most interesting story out there floating around today is Bill Clinton is intrigued by space aliens and wouldn't be surprised if aliens exist. I'm sure you wouldn't, Bill. The former United States President appeared on Wednesday episode of Jimmy Kimmel Live. He ended up discussing, among other things, extraterrestrial life. Clinton admitted that soon after becoming president, he had his aides research Area 51, the Nevada military facility, to make sure there was no alien down there. He was also interested in Roswell, New Mexico, the site of a reputed UFO sighting in 1947, which was celebrating its 50th anniversary during Clinton's presidency. I had all the Roswell papers reviewed, everything, he told Kimmel. If you saw that there were aliens there, would you tell us? Kimmel asked. Yeah, Clinton said, nodding. You know, it's funny, my dad always told me when people nod and they don't say a definitive yes or no, it means they're lying. So I do appreciate that Bill is a former president, and he's probably under a lot of restrictions on what he can actually say when it comes to this alien stuff, but he's actually trying a little bit, so we'll give him credit there. But that, yeah, I did have it checked out, and the nods, not buying it. That's all for today, folks. Keep your eyes open.